guys. So today I'm joined by my husband, Sean, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a chat and review for the first 3 episodes of the Witcher Netflix show. We're going to start non-spoiler, and then we'll get into spoilers.
I have not read any of the books, and I've only watched you play the game, so I don't have a whole lot of experience with The Witcher. So I am the average consumer.
As soon as we finished watching those first 3 episodes, we wanted to talk about it, but I was like, no, we gotta wait. And then we gotta talk about it together, kind of like with you guys, so we can all share our thoughts together. But there are mostly positive things for us. We really enjoyed it. I know that much. I know that he liked it. I liked it.
I did.
Really good first 3 episodes. I'm really excited to watch more. We have to go visit family, so we don't get to watch more. I want to start with the action stuff, the monster stuff, because I feel like that's something that we've kind of been prepped for with Witcher. For the most part, there's a couple things, but I was really pleased with the action.
I was pleased. There was just one special effect thing that I did not care for. But aside from that, action scenes are really good.
But what episode was it?
Well, I thought the very first episode with the action scene, that was really good.
Which one was it you didn't like?
Oh, the second episode. I didn't like the creature.
Is there, why?
I just didn't think it looked very good. I thought it should have been, I don't know, more
person looking.
Prosthetics or, I don't know, makeup. It just
was a little too...
It was too obviously
real
CGI to me.
That's how I felt about in the very first episode. I don't feel... This isn't really a spoiler. It's in the trailers, so I can talk about it. The Kikamore, or however they say it, that monster, I miss a little bit, and maybe my mind is just amped up how good it was, and it's not actually that good if I went back and watched it again. But I kind of miss Jurassic Park, the very first one, the way they did the dinosaurs, and everything wasn't CGI. I'm kind of like CGI overloaded because of everything nowadays, all the superhero movies, all this stuff. So, all that stuff. I just found that first battle was really good. The special effects were really well done. The way they timed everything with the fight, it was a cool opening, but I don't even think they could get any kind of animatronics to move that fast and move that way. I don't know. Maybe there also is potential for accidents, because what if the animatronic, shoved him under the water and they couldn't get him out? I don't know.
That one didn't bother me. But the second one, the one that bothered me, I don't think bothered you. So
yeah, the second one, it wasn't...
Who's to say?
Yeah, and we're being super picky because we are really picky with special effects. I am just of the mindset that I'm so down for things to be animated entirely, and it feels like nobody does it ever, because those trailers that CD Projekt Red put out for the video game, where it was all animated, I thought those were so cool. And way back when they first announced that they were going to be doing a Witcher Netflix show, I was like, I kind of hope it's animated. But I will say, they kind of faked me out just a tad, because pretty much everything else, the monster in the 3rd episode, perfect. It was so good. I hope I have not hurt the feelings of any of the animators. They did a really good job. I just usually don't. It clashes for me. Usually it clashes. But that 3rd episode... if you watch the first 2 and you're like, I don't know, should I keep watching? For that last chunk of the 3rd episode alone, yes. Although I think there's plenty of emotional pool in the first couple. And the fight scenes, the fight scenes are really good. I actually really like the human fight scenes.
Yeah, I think that was still my favorite.
The very first one?
Yeah, very first one. Yeah.
Do you like that more than the fight scene in the 3rd one with the monster?
Yes.
What? That just tells you there's lots of good ones to choose from. We also get some battle stuff way earlier than I was expecting, but it's not full on. I think the really intense battle stuff is yet to come, which I'm looking forward to. We touched on the emotional pool of things. I was actually far more captivated by the other storyline in the first episode than I was expecting. I was more captivated by it than Geralt's.
I agree. I was getting a little emotional, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, me too.
I came to care for characters quickly, which I thought was good. I do feel like as the average viewer, it is helpful to have a book reading companion. I did think the first episode kind of just threw you in there. So there's a lot of people where I was like, I don't know who that is. And she's like, this is that person. I'm like, oh, who's that person? It's like, that's that person. So I don't know how. I don't know if it was
how you would receive it.
I don't know if it was a great pilot. And the more I think about it, I really liked it. But I mean, in terms of introducing characters, I don't know.
There's some exposition that was a little heavy-handed. It's like, let's have this little girl give everybody an idea of what the world thinks of witchers and stuff. So it was a little, but I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because I know. So I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's exactly what most of the world thinks. So I can't tell if I would have perceived it differently had I not read the books and, you know, all that stuff. There's some changes in the first few episodes that didn't really bother me too much. I will say, for those wondering in the non-spoiler part, I think this is helpful to know because people have different tastes. But in the first 3 episodes, there's a good amount of violence. And there's a fair amount of nudity already in the first 3 episodes. We were laughing because he was like, I guess Netflix does nudity now. And because we were thinking, oh, I guess most of the shows that we've watched on Netflix have been the Marvel shows. And Marvel shows like Daredevil's funny because they're like, we'll show a guy impaling his face on a stick, but lady parts. I understand whether I like it or not. I understand nudity if it serves the purpose of what is happening, if it's a character moment, that it wouldn't make sense to have them clothed and stuff. I understand that. I still think there are ways that you can have camera angles in different places and stuff, but I understand. However, one of the things that I think that Game of Thrones eventually kind of people made fun of it was this, what did they call it? Like sexposition? Because it was exposition, but they're like, nobody cares, so let's just throw in some topless girls. And I feel like Witcher, I was so hoping they wouldn't fall into that, but I feel like a little bit.
This is like episode 1, not that far into it.
Yeah.
Like 4 naked women picking fruit.
Yes, that's the thing.
Why were they picking fruit?
That's the thing. It was so obviously like, I don't know if people care about what's happening, so let's just have these naked ladies back there to look at and be nice to look at. Because there's one shot, they so want you to see the naked lady, because there's one shot where the guy is off to the side. Like he's
the speaker.
The guy that the conversation, Geralt is having a conversation with, this guy is like way off to the side. And then they show, like he said, this naked lady, like, picking fruit. And also part of me is like, it's right in front of you. You're touching it. Just pull it. And because she's just there. And they'll go back to the guy, and he's way over here in the background. You see the naked lady picking the fruit. And I don't know. I was a little bummed because with Game of Thrones, I felt like they put that stuff in there because they didn't trust the quality of the show and the characters. And they're like, ugh, we need people to pay attention.
There also was a scene with a lady of the night who...
prostitute.
At first, we had a tasteful blanket. And I was like, oh, good for them. And then the tasteful blanket just fell down.
And then it was lots. And so, yeah, that's true. And that part's not in the books either. So a little bit, I was like, do they have somebody on the staff who's like, all right, I got to find the moments to put in nudity where there's not nudity. I feel like a lot of people, I don't know your guys' view on that. I just so trust the story and the character development and those sorts of things. The emotional pool, like we were saying, right away with stuff that's only hinted at in the books that they have explored. So these are kind of new things. They really pulled us in. And to me, it almost cheapens that. Like, they don't trust it. They don't take it seriously when they have random naked ladies for kind of no reason. But maybe we're just prudes. We won't go into spoilers quite yet, but we do want to touch on our thoughts of the characters, the main characters that you've been seeing, Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri, and all the promo stuff. I am pleased with how they're portraying all of them.
I agree. I really like Henry Cavill so far as Geralt. I'm trying to remember what he actually sounds like when he's speaking. I feel like after...
British.
Well, yeah, after filming this, though, he probably needed, like...
Cough drops.
Yeah. He's really going for, like, the deep, gravelly voice, which I like it, but probably hard on the throat.
What if it's like that episode of Friends where Monica is sick and Phoebe was sick and she sang all sexy, so to get her sexy voice back she's like licking the cups that Monica drank because she's trying to gross. I wonder if Henry Cavill was like, oh, you've got a cold, come here. I'm very pleased with how they're handling Ciri because they don't show Ciri basically at all initially in the books. You get her a little bit in Sword of Destiny, the second collection of short stories, but not the first. And so I like how they're tying things together. They do have some stuff that's supposed to be in the past, And they've had a few things here and there that I'm like, oh, I liked how they did that. It was subtle, but it's clear like, oh, that happened before. With Yennefer, based off of her featurette, I was so intrigued and I was really excited to see them exploring her backstory because it also is kind of just hinted at in the books. But I'm enjoying it. I also am glad, based off the featurette, I was so feeling bad for her. And I was like, oh, poor Yennefer. But there's a part of me that's like, but she's also pretty ruthless. So I was scared that they would make her too likable and we would pity her and feel bad. I feel like they're doing a good job being like, she don't need that.
I like Ciri, the actress, quite a bit so far. She's been very... she's had some emotional scenes.
She's seen some
yeah,
stuff.
So she's like... I feel like she's bringing her game on the emotional side. And then, yes, as for Yennefer... Clearly, she's got some issues. I mean, life has not been kind to her, but she seems like she's kind of ruthless.
We are going to get into spoilers now, so if you've not seen it and you want to come back and watch the spoilers part later, feel free to do that, or you can spoil yourself if you want. But anyway, stop watching if you don't want spoilers. I think since we're on the topic of Yennefer and them portraying Yennefer accurately, the very uncomfortable, awkward scene where she has the audience and they clap and everything.
Yeah, that was weird.
At first, I was like, that was so weird. But then I thought about it. I'm like, Yennefer's weird, though. I feel like that's something... The unicorn. You guys know the unicorn.
I was more concerned for the actors in that scene.
Yes.
Because... For both of them. But I feel like the man, she's pretty on top of him.
And she's pretty topless.
And she's very topless. So I feel like it could have been a little uncomfortable... For both of them.
Yeah,
I just feel like
that.
I feel like I would not have done that. I would have been like, oh, you know what? I'm out.
I remember seeing an interview with Samuel L. Jackson where he talked about when you have these sorts of scenes, of course, there's some actresses, that you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, so you have to really concentrate on not getting excited about what's happening. But then there are some actresses that's like, what's the matter? Am I not attractive or something? It's got a little weird. Let's bring it back home. Let's talk about the spoiler action scenes. So, oh my gosh, they call it a striga.
Yeah, I think it says striga. Yes.
That whole episode, I was like, I can't wait for this fight scene because I saw clips of it in the featurette. I was like, ooh, that looks good. And then, so he hadn't seen it, but the part where he uses Ard on her in the hallway, he out loud was like, that's awesome.
I also enjoyed in the same scene where he broke the hallway.
That's the part I was going to mention because we both out loud each time. We're like, oh, that's so cool. So I knew that the one was coming. It was still satisfying when he used Ard on her. But when he was doing it to the floor and then the way the camera fell with them and stuff, I thought that scene was so good. It was so good. Just the whole fight was awesome.
As I said, I liked the fight scene in the first episode with Renfri's
thugs.
Yes. I was just impressed with the choreography of the fight. I did think it was a little excessive. Him going from I don't want to fight you guys to then the last guy he stabs a guy through a door basically, and then he's like, that's not good enough, I'll chop his head off too. I'm like, I think you got it, buddy. Otherwise, I mean, I honestly wasn't expecting the fight scenes to be that good. I don't know why.
They were really good.
I was like, oh shoot, that was a really good fight scene. And the fight between him and Renfri was good too.
Oh, he was joking with me earlier about take a shot every time they say lesser evil, or take a shot every time they say destiny.
Yeah, that was my biggest criticism, I think, so far, the first 3 episodes. A little heavy-handed in that first one. I didn't feel like it was heavy-handed in the other 2, actually.
No.
But that first one, they're like, destiny, it's your destiny. Ciri, it's your destiny. Girl, it's your destiny. Destiny. And then the wizard guy's like, it's your destiny.
Also,
what is destiny? Evil. Yeah, and they got it. Yeah, I'm capable of following this.
In case you missed it too, in the 3rd episode, when he's like, it's the lesser evil.
I know.
Like, bringing it home. I will say, I do like how they tied in Renfri's story to the Strigas. I really enjoyed that. That's not in the books, but I liked they are kind of trying to add it being more cohesive. You know, Geralt recalls these things. He's still thinking about them. So I think they're doing a good job of that. I forgot to mention, I really liked the part where he wraps the chain around her.
That was
and then
cool.
she just breaks it apart and he's like, I really like that
Bleep.
part. On the topic of the humor, I was a little nervous.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure what I was going to think of some of it because what I saw in the previews, I was like, eh. But I do like the dynamic between Geralt and Dandelion.
Who has a lovely singing voice, by the way.
Yeah, we really like it. We think it's a great bard singing voice. So we really liked, we were both like, I like his voice. But I felt like there were everything about that second episode with the Edge of the World, that whole short story thing in the adaptation, I really enjoyed it. Obviously there's lots of humor in that, but I really liked so Dandelion gets knocked out. That's not what they're calling him in the shows, but I'm used to calling him that, so I'm gonna call him that. So when he gets knocked out, it wasn't that thing that made me laugh. It was the way that I was really proud of Henry Cavill because he just looked so... He didn't care at all that Dandelion just got knocked out.
For those wondering at home, that's the creature that I did not like the look of. That little goat man. I feel like they could have just, put some makeup on and some horns, but that's just me.
It
I'm
did look
old-fashioned.
a little extra.
These are the eyes. I feel like the eyes looked really not great.
Oh, okay. I made fun of it while we were watching it because I couldn't help it. So there's a couple things that we were just like, what? So...
Oh, yeah. I know what you're going to say.
In Sintra, in the first episode, it was really emotional, the way that the knight's going around being like, here you go, here's this thing to, kill yourself with. And they're like, thank you, okay. Because Nilfgaard will tear your insides apart and make you watch. So they go to the one family. The guy hands them 3. And the guy looks at him and he takes 2. And I'm like, does he know like the other one's from a person down the hall or something? What's up? And like you walk into the room and initially you just see him and his wife and you're like, oh, okay, it's just him and his wife. So I guess you only need 2.
But I remembered he had a kid. I was like, what about the kid? Yeah, you're like,
what about his kid? And then they show them giving it to the kid.
Like,
the wife takes it.
Kid.
And then homeboy's like, I'll just shove this spike through my throat. What? That was your option? And if you didn't take that, that's what you decided to do. At least Calanthe threw herself out the window, which sounds really morbid, but I kind of fist bumped at that part because I was like, yeah, that's right. Don't let the Nilfgaardians get you. And she does it in the books. But also I'm like applauding somebody thrusting themselves out a window. But so I felt like kind of bad about that. But I was just, it was kind of a boss.
But what we were confused about was there was just at no point where like we've only got 5 vials.
And he's like, save it for the ones over there.
Yeah, save it for Lady Tabitha down the hall. No, it was just like the guy's like, here's 3 of these, and he's like, I'll take these 2.
Nah, I don't need it.
I'm
a real man.
I don't know why.
Why did he do that? How is that the better option?
It was not the better option.
It's not.
It was the greater of 2.
I was just about to make that lame joke. Also, on the topic of things being like, whoa, what? So, Syria's been kept way in the dark. Nilfgaard is on their doorstep, and they're like, oh shoot, they're here. Well, just let Ciri keep dancing with this boy she didn't really want to dance with. This is the last night she might get to do this. So they're way in the dark. And then Ciri's pacing around the chamber being like, what's taking them so long? Where'd they go? All you are boring. So, that's happening. And she's a little annoying, but I understand because she's been kept way in the dark. But the moment to decide to be real with her and up front, she's like, Nilfgaard's coming. They take no prisoners. They'll take out your insides and they'll make you watch, and they're slaughtering every innocent and she just goes into such graphic detail.
Jeez.
And Ciri's like watching her grandmother die. Everything's falling apart. She has no idea what's going on. And that's the time that you choose to be really intense and straightforward with her.
By the way, the grandma was the best, and I was pretty bummed when she died.
Also, that whole part, everything to do with Ciri's plotline, I found I actually liked more. I feel like that's almost controversial.
Don't say it.
I almost liked that plotline. I did like it more than Geralt's plotline, and I don't know if it's just because I knew what was going to happen with the lesser evil story, but it was so good. But we keep making fun of certain things. There's one more thing I want to make fun of. So, Mousesec. I think that's how they said it in the show. I always thought there was an extra S, Mousesec, but whatever. The person capable of magic in their court. Mm-hmm. So he goes to this giant window, opens up this giant window. The Nilfgaardians are right there. And he's like, powers. Like, he's very clearly using magic. And then Siri's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm gonna defend them. She's like, how long can it hold? As long as I can hold. I'm like, you're not gonna hold for very long if you're in very visible sight of the Nilfgaardians. They're pretty good with arrows. I just watched a guy get shot. Just look up and you could see that he's right there and they could have shot him. I don't know. I was like, at least kind of shimmy to the side so they don't see or something.
And shame on Nilfgaard for not shooting him.
Yeah.
Like, what happened, guys?
Sort of. But then, after that, when they show the clip of them breaking through and they're all cheering and then they're coming in, and he goes, I'm
coming
like,
in.
I was like, oh, okay, so that means he's probably exhausted now. Or something happened and he did get shot. I don't know. Oh no, what happened? And he comes striding in, full health bar. Like, health bar's all the way up to 100%. I guess his MP was gone or something.
I was just about to say that. Dang it.
Because he comes in and he's like, sorry, I couldn't keep going. My bad. One last thing that we really did like the show. This is more of just stuff that I found kind of funny and I feel like maybe you guys will find funny too. But this is not the first show to do this. It just strikes me as amusing every single time. So when they're in battle and Calanthe sees the guy get shot in the head and she's distraught. And what's her instinct? Let me pull off my helmet, the thing that's protecting my head. Maybe the arrow could have shot through her helmet and everything, but I'm just like, why? Why is that?
So, you know what I will give them props for, though, is the fact that she even had a helmet to begin with. Because I always make fun of, like cop shows where they'll be going in with SWAT, and the SWAT guys have all their gear,
and then
except for the main character, no gear whatsoever, and he has like his tiny little gun. You're like, the rest of those guys are ready. Like,
yeah.
Where's your stuff?
There were, of course, a couple things that they changed in the show that ultimately didn't bug me. They changed the alderman. Pretty much didn't exist essentially in the first episode. In the books, Geralt's friendly with the alderman. And then it almost, in my opinion, made it more, it was more tragic because the alderman's the one that's like, get out of here, Geralt. And instead, the daughter was the one that's like, get out of here. So we were like, who's going to provide with exposition now? I think the reason they did that, though, was because that whole first episode was trying to establish how the world sees Witchers. And if they saw a guy being kind of friendly with Geralt, I think that maybe would have not hit that point home as well. So I understood the difference. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, can everybody stop whisper talking? When Geralt and Stregobor were talking, I was like, guys.
We had to pump up the volume.
Yeah, he's like, can Henry Cavill's voice not be so manly? And they changed the whole Triss. Triss does not show up really at all until Blood of Elves. So I knew when I saw her cast that she was gonna be in it somehow. I thought maybe she would be in the backstory with Yennefer, which that wouldn't have made sense either because she's supposed to be much younger than Yennefer. But I thought that's how they were going to tie it in. But it was interesting, her being with Foltest and stuff. I understood the need to have her there. I liked how they handled that entire short story.
I mean, I didn't know it was different. So I know we said we were going to stop making fun of it, but I do have one more thing. So, Yennefer creeps and watches her friends turn into eels, which apparently is a thing.
Which, hold on, I'm going to stop for a second. When she's like, you turn them into slugs. And then Tissaya's just like, you idiot, they're eels.
Apparently they just have handy a special stick/broom thing meant for scooping your eel friends into the water. Because she was like, put them in the water. And I was expecting her to like just pick them up. And then she's like, here you go.
One more thing that I'm not making fun of it. My brain doesn't know how these two things go together. So they kind of hit hard the whole Yennefer. They're like, you will be barren now. And I thought it was going to be because of these magical things we're going to use to change your body. And instead it was like, because we're going to straight up take your uterus out of you. Which apparently corrects a hunchback.
All in all, I thoroughly enjoyed these first 3 episodes.
Very good.
I'm looking forward to continuing to watch it. I'm actually kind of liking the smaller cast. I feel like there's all the stuff is like Witcher's trying to be the next Game of Thrones. I'm like, there's like 3 people. Like, I didn't know if I'd like the short story-ish thing going on, but
it's worked out well for the episodes.
I've liked the short stories that you've told me they've adapted. I thought they were pretty good.
I did like I don't know if like's the right word, but I found it interesting the way they paralleled her transforming and the Striga coming back to being a human. That was interesting. It was almost, I wonder if it's the symbolism of she's losing her humanity and this creature's gaining some.
Wow.
Probably not. It's just they're like, these things.
I liked that.
Oh, you did? We'll say that's what it is. I'm smart, guys. I figured it out.
It's probably like you're about to say. It's just like, these are kind of similar. Do you want to put them right next to each other?
Otherwise, people will be like, it's the same shot, basically. We'll just purposefully make it the same shot.
And then people will think there's something to it.
They definitely, they hit the checkbox for having the sibling lovers that you're actually like, why can't they love each other just because they came from the same womb? I mean, they had that little fantasy checkbox, which is in the books. But they really did make me feel for Voltest. Also, he had a really good voice.
He did have a good voice.
Great voice.
Aside from that, gross.
Oh, and them using the guy for bait. He was like, is he going to use him for bait? I was like, yeah, he is.
That guy got torn apart. I thought I was going to be like, okay, so I'm a naive little one. I was like, oh, he'll use him for bait, and then he'll save him, let him go. And then that guy gets just utterly destroyed. And I was like, never mind.
Overall, though, I've been pretty happy with the things that they did change. The things that they've had to add in. The Ciri plotline, they have done a great job with. I think that they have my confidence in the writer's abilities because, as history has shown with Game of Thrones, sometimes when they start making up their own things, it's not as good.
And like I said, I think all the actors have done a good job. Even the side ones. I feel like there hasn't been anyone where I'm like, eh.
Except for the dumb thugs.
Well,
they pulled off dumb thug well.
I guess I meant like the court of Sintra. I thought all those players.
Racist lady.
Yeah, she was kind of crazy.
I mean, she got stabbed to death in a I was like, whoa, jeez. Because he's like, I've had enough. You know what? These Nilfgaards, they're coming, so I have nothing to lose.
So we also enjoyed like in that scene. It's like slap. Like,
that was the weakest slap I've ever seen.
It was like
idiot.
And then it's like pop. Like it's a really loud smacking noise, and it's like.
Yes, but
can we add in a smack?
Overall, though, yes, we have been so pleased with the show. The fight scenes have been great. The acting, I thought, has been great. We've picked on it a lot, but we've really liked it.
Yes.
And I wouldn't even say we've picked on it. We've just more been enjoying it because that's how we kind of consume things. Even the things we love, we tend to laugh at. So we've really liked it. I think it's our coping mechanism for when the emotional stuff happens. Thanks so much for watching, though. I hope you've been enjoying the show. Let me know your thoughts. If you are going to talk spoilers, just to not spoil the people who haven't seen it, write spoilers, and then, you know how it works. You know how YouTube comment sections work.
Thanks for watching, and we'll be back for a few more episodes, pretty soon. So
yeah. I hope you guys are liking it, too. Bye.